Caitlin Clark has decided to quit the WNBA and move on and go play over in Europe.
Let's see how well the WNBA does without me, since they want to treat me with this type of disrespect. I'm out of here. I'm going to collect my money and let you guys see how you're going to continue to go game without my presence. Let's see if you could bring in that 1.9 million viewership cable-wise. Let's see if you could bring in those 17,000 plus attendees in the arena without me. Handle that. Bye. I'm taking my money. I'm going elsewhere.
Could be a team overseas who would love to snatch Caitlin Clark away from us and give her a crazy offer.
Caitlin Clark might actually leave the WNBA. Yes, pack her bags, hop on a plane, and go play for a league that doesn't treat her like she's the villain in a bad high school drama.
I'm never gonna financially recover from this.
Because based on how this all-star vote just went down, it's clear. She's not just playing basketball. She's surviving a live-action hazing ritual disguised as a league. Let's break it down.
I mean, she's literally on the court every single night fighting for her life, getting double-teamed from the moment she gets the ball on the opposite end of the court all the way down. She's guarded the toughest. She has hit the hardest. She's fouled the most. And she's constantly getting berated by not only the opposing team's bench, but the players on the court and even the fans whenever she travels.
Would you need to blitz her off of any screen? Why would you need to be physical with her if she wasn't that great of a player? Or you're just wasting your energy and you just simply don't like her. It's either one of the other.
Caitlin Clark, the reason this league is on national TV in the first place, got slapped in the face by her fellow players. Not literally, but let's be honest. 8th place in the player vote might as well be a passive-aggressive slap, followed by a bless your heart. They voted her behind players with fewer points, fewer assists, fewer fans, fewer highlights, and more attitude. It's like a masterclass in professional jealousy.
Whether it's jealousy, whether it's envy, whether it's we don't want you here, folks, they don't want her here.
Women are petty, and women are petty, and women are petty. And they're jealous, and they didn't vote her because they are jealous of her, and you can't convince me any different.
Now imagine you're Clark. You bring in record-breaking viewership, sell out arenas in cities that didn't even know they had a WNBA team 3 months ago, and carry the media on your back like it's a varsity letter jacket. And what do you get from your fellow players? A ranking that suggests you should be grateful they even let you in the locker room.
WNBA All-Star starters and reserves were also announced.
They put Caitlin Clark number 9 as far as the guards go.
I mean, it's baffling.
However, I do take it as a sign of disrespect to Caitlin Clark.
So yeah, the rumors are flying. Whispers of a shiny, fully loaded European contract offer just magically leaking out. Sounds convenient, doesn't it? Or maybe it sounds like a plan. One where Caitlin Clark says, thanks for the drama, I'm gonna go run up the scoreboard in Spain for a while. Maybe win a championship and a glass of Rioja in the same week.
I do not blame her. I applaud it. I say do it. Get as far away from the WNBA as you can. Let that league sink. Okay? Do not help them, Caitlin. Get away.
Because in Europe, they'll actually treat her like she matters. She wouldn't be a walking controversy. She'd be the centerpiece, the investment, the reason sponsors call and fans show up. Not the rookie who has to take elbows and shade like it's part of the rookie orientation packet. And while we're here, let's be brutally honest. The WNBA didn't build its recent success through some organic growth curve. They piggybacked on Caitlin Clark like she was a human trampoline.
What Caitlin Clark has done is grown the WNBA exponentially. She did in 5 weeks what would have taken 5 years. And as it pertains to draft viewership, she did in 5 days.
The WNBA wouldn't have a ground to stand on if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark. Nobody would be talking about any of these players if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark. I wouldn't be making a video right now if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark. And the fact that she could be voted number 1 by the fans and 3 by the media and number 9 by the players shows a mass discrepancy.
The media campaigns, the ticket spikes, the sold-out games, things that just so happened to start the moment she arrived. Yet, somehow, the players decided the proper way to welcome that kind of impact is to actively ice her out of the all-star circle. As if refusing to pass her the ball wasn't enough, now they don't want to pass her a vote either? Is giving, we see you rising and we don't like it.
Doing all of this because you're trying to stop her because you know how lethal she can be on the court, or you're doing all of this because you don't like
injury. Come on, this is insanity, and I think it's an activist vote by the women of the WNBA who simply cannot stand her success.
They're not as good as Caitlin Clark. And the fact that they can't see that and they're taking it out on her when it comes to, there's no way those women could look themselves in the mirror and not say that Caitlin Clark isn't one of the top 4 guards in the WNBA. They just don't like her. They're jealous and they're petty.
It's giving, this is our league, not yours. And if you're Caitlin Clark, it starts sounding a lot like, okay, then maybe it's not my league after all. That Europe contract? Not such a crazy idea now, is it? And if you think this is just about an all-star vote, let me stop you right there. The all-star vote is just the cherry on top of a 3-layered disrespect cake, baked fresh since the day she got drafted. Let's rewind.
Yes, you have somebody in Caitlin Clark who became the face of the league the first year that she was in the WNBA. She put up crazy numbers last season, and even in this season, where she has struggled more games than she has balled out, she is still putting up wild numbers. Clark, it seems like this entire season, she was the solution for so many things, but so many players, coaches, media people, so many people were also painting her out to be the problem. She could never do enough. She could never speak out enough. Her fans were the issue.
Day 1. The moment Caitlin Clark entered the league, the welcome committee greeted her with hard fouls, side eyes, and post-game interviews that sounded more like group therapy for players dealing with too much attention trauma. You'd think she broke into their houses and stole their Gatorade endorsements the way they talk about her. Apparently, being popular is now a punishable offense in the WNBA. Having millions of fans is a threat. Drawing attention to the league is somehow an insult to the players who were there before.
And you think that, okay, well, she's still a captain of the WNBA All-Star team and a starter because she scored so high with the fans and the media. But the disconnect between the fans, media, and the players shows the pettiness that Caitlin Clark has to deal with every single day and every single time she steps on the damn court.
Who knew growth could be so offensive? But sure, let's act like this is all normal. Let's pretend it's totally reasonable to have teammates mumbling about earning your place while those same teammates shoot airballs on national television. Let's act like it's fine for commentators to downplay her stats, twist her every move into a think piece, and pretend like she hasn't been targeted like she's wearing a jersey that says, "Hit me, I'm successful." At some point, you stop asking what Caitlin Clark has to prove and start asking what the league has to lose.
Fact that she was getting all of that, yet all of these eyeballs were coming to the league because of her. They were turning, the Indiana Fever was turning away games into home games.
The hate that Caitlin Clark consistently gets over and over again is insane, and yet she's still out here. People are spending $3,000 a pop to find her rookie auto, to find her one-of-one, to find her green kaboom, and they're selling them for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a pop. The biggest one's probably going to go for 6 figures.
The WNBA was not everybody watches. That wasn't the case. But you guys want to act like it was? Don't call me. You guys can explain why the viewership has been raising, why the attendance has been raising without using my name.
Because here's the thing. Europe is watching. International scouts aren't stupid. They see a generational player being treated like an inconvenience in her own country, and they're licking their chops. While the WNBA is busy gatekeeping its own success, EuroLeague teams are probably printing jerseys with her name on them already. We're talking full VIP treatment, starting role, fat contract, no weird rookie politics, no coded interviews about paying dues, just basketball.
Nonsense about things that Caitlin was doing wrong when, in my personal opinion, she was doing nothing but going out there and playing great basketball every night and ignoring the hate that was coming to her from all sides, not only from fans.
And the kicker? Fans over there would actually appreciate her. She wouldn't be polarizing. She'd be a draw. She'd be a superstar without an asterisk. Because when a league sees value, it builds around it. When a league sees jealousy, it tears it down. And right now, the WNBA is starting to look a little demolition happy. Now let's talk logistics. You think Clark hasn't noticed the attitude, the missed high fives, the deliberate non-passes on wide open cuts? You think she hasn't read the passive-aggressive headlines? Or heard the players who conveniently don't watch her, but have a fully rehearsed opinion when a mic's in their face?
Listen to Caitlin Clark in the background of this Instagram live video after the Fever won the Commissioner's Cup. Caitlin Clark has never acknowledged that the WNBA doesn't like her, hasn't accepted her, or doesn't like the Fever until now. If anything, this just shows Caitlin Clark is paying attention and she's taking notes.
She's a competitor, sure, But she's not stupid. She knows when she's being iced out. She knows when a league loves what she brings, but hates that it's her bringing it. And let's not pretend like she doesn't have options. If a European team came with a 7-figure contract and the promise of teammates who actually want to play basketball instead of politics, what exactly is keeping her in the W? Pride? Maybe. Loyalty? Possibly. But loyalty has a breaking point, especially when it starts feeling one-sided. Because here's what no one in the WNBA seems to want to say out loud. Caitlin Clark does not need this league nearly as much as this league needs Caitlin Clark. Let that sink in. She could walk tomorrow, sign with a European powerhouse, and still sell jerseys in America. Still draw headlines, still trend on every platform. You know who loses in that scenario? Not Caitlin Clark, the WNBA, the players, the media that has milked her name for every ounce of traffic and then tried to play neutral when she got elbowed like it was part of a handshake. It's not just ungrateful, it's short-sighted. Because while Clark's star keeps rising, the league is acting like it has the luxury of playing gatekeeper, like the attention will just magically stay if she goes. As if a decade of stagnation didn't suddenly reverse the minute she put on that Fever jersey. And don't forget, she's already made more money off the court than most WNBA players will see in a lifetime. She's not here for a paycheck. She's here because she actually wants to play the game. She believed in the league, thought she could help build something, thought the veteran players would welcome her into the fold instead of sharpening the knives. But what she got was a front row seat to bitterness disguised as culture. And now the all-star vote, the one thing that could have at least been a professional nod to her impact, became a message, loud and clear. The players voted, and what they said was, we see what you're doing and we don't care. Well, message received. And if Europe picks up the phone with an offer that says, we do care and we'll prove it, it wouldn't take a genius to know where this is headed. Because loyalty is noble, but so is self-respect. At some point, Caitlin Clark might just say, why stay in a league that treats me like a PR stunt when I could go play for one that treats me like a star? And honestly, if she did, could you blame her? Imagine being the most talked about player in the league, the one fans pay to see, the one who actually boosts ratings, and still being treated like the problem. That's Caitlin Clark's reality. She didn't just bring new eyes to the WNBA, she practically brought a new generation. You've got teenage girls wearing Fever jerseys who didn't even know the team existed 2 months ago. You've got ESPN dusting off their WNBA segment from the basement and putting it on primetime. You've got NBA players actually tweeting about the games again. And what does she get in return? A welcome gift basket full of elbows. She needs to earn it, sound bites, and now, just to top it all off, the All-Star game giving her the fans love you but your coworkers don't treatment, professionalism, out the window. Respect, hanging by a thread. And now you've got analysts doing backflips, trying to explain why her being left off the starters list is actually a good thing for her growth. As if being humiliated in front of the country by your own peers is somehow character building. What kind of mental gymnastics are we watching? This isn't some hazing ritual at basketball camp. This is the highest level of women's basketball. At least it's supposed to be. But lately, it's starting to feel like the high school lunch table with better lighting and corporate sponsors. And you know what? That's fine. Let them have their little club. Let them pretend that downplaying Caitlin's presence makes them more relevant. Let them keep acting like ignoring her success somehow levels the playing field. Meanwhile, overseas teams are sitting back with popcorn thinking, so you're telling me we can get the best player in the world with the biggest fan base? And all we have to do is not treat her like an outsider? Sold. They're watching this chaos like it's a clearance sale. Oh, you don't want her? Cool, we'll take her. Let's get real. The EuroLeague is not some step down. It's not a charity league. Teams out there play hard. They play physical. They've got world-class coaching, packed arenas, and oh yeah, money. Real money. Not the kind of money where your rookie contract gets you a shared apartment and some WNBA branded socks. And you know what those fans do in Europe when a superstar comes to town? They cheer loudly. They don't spend weeks dissecting whether she's earned her moment. They stand and chant her name. They buy the tickets. They wear the jerseys. They don't treat the face of the sport like a threat to the status quo. They celebrate it. That's the part nobody in the W seems to get. Fans don't care about locker room politics. They don't tune in to hear about humbling a player. They want to see the best play, and they want to see them shine. And the one player giving the league exactly that experience is being used as a cautionary tale. You'd think she broke the rules by being popular. Meanwhile, in every other sport on earth, when someone has that kind of magnetism, that kind of draw, you build around them. You elevate the product. But in the WNBA, the playbook seems to be surround her with tension and hope she trips. And here's the wild part. Caitlin Clark hasn't even said anything. She's just playing ball, doing press conferences with grace, hyping up her teammates, and acting like this isn't a circus. But you know, behind closed doors, the conversations are getting louder. Conversations with her camp, conversations with international agents, conversations with people saying, you don't have to stay where you're not wanted. Because eventually, even the most loyal people ask, what am I doing here? What is Caitlin Clark doing in a league where being excellent is somehow a sin? She could walk into a Turkish team tomorrow and be treated like royalty, walk into a French club and get embraced like a hero, and all she'd have to do is bring her game. No politics, no resentment, no legacy hazing rituals, just buckets. And that's the quiet threat no one's talking about. That Caitlin Clark leaving the WNBA wouldn't just hurt ratings, it would fracture the entire marketing strategy the league is now riding on. Whether they admit it or not, she's the headliner. She's the one keeping non-traditional fans engaged. The ones who don't care about which player paid their dues in 2006. The ones who just want to see greatness. And if the league loses her, good luck selling season tickets with a revenge tour built around bitterness and shoulder chips. Because when Clark leaves, she's not just taking her talent with her, she's taking the casuals. She's taking the merch sales, she's taking the media coverage, she's taking the momentum. And she's not even trying to. That's just the gravity she brings. The league keeps acting like it's immune, like the numbers will stay, but numbers follow the story. And the story right now? It's looking like a classic star gets run out by people who couldn't see the bigger picture tragedy. A slow, bitter burn that ends with her lighting it up in Barcelona or Istanbul, while the WNBA holds another press conference explaining why that's actually good for the brand. Now, let's take a step back from the chaos and look at everything more objectively. Because beneath all the noise, headlines, social media fights, and hot takes, there is a very real conversation happening, and it is one that goes beyond Caitlin Clark, beyond one All-Star vote snub, and into what the WNBA is right now versus what it could be. Caitlin Clark's arrival in the league was never going to be a quiet moment. From the moment she stepped onto a WNBA court, the expectations were sky high. She was the most talked about college player in recent memory. She broke records, filled arenas, and essentially brought in a whole new audience to women's basketball. That does not just happen. It is once in a generation stuff. The league knew that. The media knew that. Everyone knew that. So when fans saw the All-Star starter list and noticed her name was not on it, even though she led all players in fan votes, it was like pouring gasoline on a fire already burning. To be clear, the All-Star selection process is a combination of fan votes, player votes, coach input, and media involvement. But here is where things get messy. Caitlin Clark dominated fan voting. She literally had more fan votes than anyone else in the league. Yet somehow, she is not starting in the All-Star game. Technically, she is still part of it, but let us not pretend this was not a blow to her perception in the public eye. What message does that send? That the fans can shout as loud as they want, but it does not matter? That the league's biggest draw, the person pulling in ratings and putting people in seats, does not get the spotlight she earned? That is where a lot of the frustration is coming from. Now, we are not saying Caitlin Clark is above the game. She is a rookie. She is still learning. She has had some tough games, especially early on. But the same could be said for any top rookie across sports history. Growth is part of the process. You do not punish someone for their growing pains when they are also carrying the league into the national spotlight. What is becoming clear is that Clark is being held to a completely different standard. Her performance is scrutinized in a way that almost no one else's is. When she plays well, it is yeah, but. And when she struggles, it is see, told you she is overrated. That is exhausting. For her, for fans, and honestly, for the growth of the league. And now, we are hearing whispers. Whispers that could become headlines if the situation does not change. Interest from Europe, from places like Italy, Spain, and Turkey. Leagues that might be willing to pay her more, treat her as a true global star, and market her the way she deserves. Because here is a reality check. The WNBA, for all its progress, still has some serious issues. Players do not make nearly what they should, and until recently, the league did not even allow teams to fly charter. Many players go overseas during the offseason not just for the love of the game, but because that is where the real money is. If Caitlin Clark were to sign a European contract, even for a season, it would not be unprecedented, but it would be a massive statement. And the fact that we are even having this conversation, that speaks volumes. She has said nothing publicly. There is no official statement, But her camp is smart. They know her value, they know her leverage, and if the league keeps fumbling opportunities to elevate her, there are other places that will jump at the chance. So the question becomes, how does the WNBA respond? Do they double down on their stars, elevate Clark alongside the league's veterans, and build a future where both coexist? Or do they keep trying to downplay her rise to avoid ruffling feathers? Because here is the truth. The fans have chosen. They are showing up in record numbers. They are tuning in, they are buying jerseys, and they are not doing that by accident. The league's job is to match that energy, not dilute it. Clark does not need protection. She does not need favoritism, but she does need fairness. And when the most popular player in the league, rookie or not, is not given the spotlight she earned, it sends a bad message, not just to her, but to every future star watching. So here we are, a league with more attention than ever before, and a star who has managed to break through the noise in a way we have not seen in a long time. Caitlin Clark is not just a player. She is a movement, a phenomenon, a brand all her own. The WNBA has a choice to make. Do they ride that wave and use it to lift the entire league? Or do they let old dynamics and internal politics get in the way of what could be a defining era for women's basketball? The clock is ticking, and fans are watching. Whatever Caitlin Clark decides to do next, one thing is certain. She has options. She has value. And if the WNBA does not fully recognize that, someone else absolutely will.